All right, let's get started. Hello, everybody again. So we're gonna do a quick recap of what happened yesterday, and based on that, we want to you want to just look through. If you have any question, you want to maybe ask me some questions here and there. So I think yesterday after the call, some of you actually stayed back to ask me some questions. So I hope that I have already answered to most of your questions already. But if you still have any question, feel free to just drop me a chat or raise your hand. I'll come to you once I finish a particular sessions. Okay, now let's go ahead. Now we talk about website creation. So yesterday we mentioned about why you need a website. Basically, like I mentioned, if you only have a social media platform, your ranking will not grow actually. So will not grow too much. So you will need to have uh, a website in order for your ranking to grow. So there are three essentials that you need for the websites. So number one essential is your domain name. Then you have your web host and your web application framework. Now for those who are still not very clear about what is these three things for, remember if you want to start your website, these are the three things that you need. So if you have not do anything about these three things, you won't be able to start a website. Simple as that. Okay, so these are things that you will need to have first in order to start. So again, the domain name is your address. Your web host is actually the server of your website, and then your web application framework is basically what is in your web host itself. Okay, your website. So our web application framework that we were working with is actually CMS, and in short, CMS is content management system. Okay. Next. So how is it connected? Your CMS, your domain name, your user will key in your domain name. The domain name will then call up the server. The server will then bring out everything which is in the CMS to be presented in your domain browser. Okay, so this thing will take about 3.5 seconds. 3.5 seconds. So on the last day itself, I'll teach you how to check your sites to see why is your site slow, or what are some of the ways you can do to improve your site speed itself. But this will come in later by the end of the class, nearer to the end of the class. Okay. So CMS in short is content management system. It's actually a web application framework for non-technical user. Basically to manage your website, update content, create website, all this you will require your CMS. So our CMS, we've got two types of CMS. One is an open source CMS, another one is closed source. So open source will be, for example, WordPress, Joomla, Magento, as well closed source will be like a Wix, Shopify, Squarespace. Again, I want to remind you that WordPress has two versions. One is the closed source, one is the open source. So we are not going to do anything about the open source. So in this course, we're not teaching you how to do open source WordPress, but more of how to do a closed source WordPress. So this is something that you need to know this is something that you will need to know in order to move ahead in the website itself, okay, in creating a website itself. Now for WordPress.org, right, the open source version, it does not mean that you need to log into WordPress.org, don't it? So what you need to do is to buy your domain, you buy your host. Your host will then come with an installation of WordPress. Then after that, you can start using your WordPress itself. Okay. So domain-wise, these are the domain that we have. Like for example, these are domain-wise is actually address. So these are the registrars that you have. So for example, you got Namecheap, GoDaddy, 1&1. You also got Bodian. All these are actually the domain registrars. Now, all these domain registrars are basically some example we have. Of course, you have more domains out there, more domain registrar out there that you can use. However, some of them are not very reputable. So you might want to probably do a quick review on Google first, right, to understand what kind of domains registrar, or do a review on the registrar to understand how is their service, and what kind of service they provide. Okay, so so there are a few type of domains. So one is .com, then your .sg. The two most common will be your .com and your .com.sg. Okay, the costs are around $15 to $20 and $60 to $150 per year, roughly there. Okay. So if you want to buy a domain from Namecheap, these are some of the steps that you can take. I'll skip these steps. Give me the recap. Now for web hosting wise, these are some example. So I also recommend that you want to buy your host and of course your domain together in when you do your purchase. So if you buy it together, there's no need for you to do the pointing later, which will actually helps you to will basically helps you to save time for doing the pointing later. Okay. Give me a moment. Okay, there are some type of domains, some types of hosting. One type is the share hosting, the other type is cloud hosting. These two are actually enough for you to launch your website already. There's no need to go all the way up to VPS or dedicated servers. Okay, if you see the price is about $100 or then maybe you are in the VPS or dedicated server already, so don't need to go for that, right? So CDN wise content delivery network. This is for you to use so that you can so that the other audience from other country will be able to access the website. Will be able to access the website quickly even if the server is in your hometown. Okay, so for web hosting, we recommend that you buy from SiteGround. So just do the purchase. So once you purchase already, so this is something that you want to take note. All right, you will be they will send you the server detail, which looks something like that. So you will need to log in back to your domain registrar, okay, to do the pointing over the machine access. But basically, if you want to do that, right, you can actually seek the support from your server, from your domain registrar, so they will help you. Now, either way, it will be 24 to 48 hours for you to for 24 to 48 hours for the domain to be pointed. Okay, so this is how you point your domain. Okay, for SiteGround, they have their own SiteGround dashboard, so you can just follow the slides. They will teach you how to install your WordPress on SiteGround itself. Okay, if not, yesterday we actually register the yesterday we actually installed the WordPress via our cPanel. Okay, that's about it for yesterday. Any question that you want to ask me up to now? Yeah, any question that you want to ask me?
Hi, Dixon.
Okay, hi.
Jessie.
Hi, Jesse.
Okay, I'd like to check with you. If let's say you need to point the post, right? So do you need to finish up the website first, or after we can we do the website before the pointing, or we have to do it after the pointing?
No, before you have to do you have to do your pointing first, then your website.
Okay, so you have
Yeah.
to choose the kind of like the WordPress from the background, right?
So first step you buy your domain already, right?
Yeah,
Then second step you buy your host, right? You buy your SiteGround, right?
correct.
So if you are buying from the different place, then you will need to. If you are buying from a different place, then you will need to do the pointing. If you buy
Yeah,
from the same place, then you don't need to do the pointing.
correct, correct. Because my friend have already have a domain name.
Ah,
She sort of like joke the name she wanted lah. So
okay. So
now
she have
she if I want to help her to do the website, so I have to find a hosting for her lah.
yes,
Is
correct.
that
So you have
right?
to buy the hosting, then you do the pointing first.
Okay, then
Mm.
we then can choose the WordPress to start doing the website lah.
Yeah, then correct.
Okay, can. Thank
Mm.
you.
No problem. Andrew, hold on for a while. I think Francis has a question. So maybe y'all want to raise your hand first before you ask your question, so that uh, I can uh, answer timely. So Francis, your question is Francis.
Sorry, just want to confirm we'll be focusing more on the open rather than on the close rather than open on this session.
I mean, because I saw your question that you posed to me is about closed domain. There's no such thing as closed domain. So just to be very clear, right? Um, the open and close we are referring to is your CMS, is your
CMS,
content
sorry.
management. So we are working on the open source CMS, not the closed
Open
source.
source, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because just now you said it's closed.
Oh, I said closed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry. All right. Thank you. So it's open source CMS.
Okay.
Okay. Next will be Andrew. If my website is on a certain domain name, can I change the domain name later? Most of the server, if you want to change the domain name on a server, you can't do that unless you buy a new server. So you can only do redirect. If I need to answer to your question, you can only do redirect, not change. That means you buy another new domain already, right? Then you redirect the old one to your new one. Andrew. All right. Any other questions that you would like to ask? Okay. If not, then we will move on to the first. We'll move on to one more points that we mentioned yesterday, which is your posts. So yesterday I get you all to learn about posts versus pages. Okay. So usually you will create pages. Okay. Then for post wise, it's more of creating articles, creating promotions, creating events. These are more for your post itself. So in a post itself, you have got able to uh, you're able to post things like your image, your videos, as well as your texts. So yesterday we for the it will be more optimized for search engines. Okay, can y'all hear me properly, or am I very laggy for most of you here?
You're kind of laggy and you kind of blacked out early on as well. You're frozen on the screen for a while. And you're frozen again.
Hello everyone, I'm back. I'm sorry, can y'all hear me now?
Yeah.
I can't hear you. So which part y'all didn't hear? The post, is it? After the question, right?
Yeah, I think you might want to start from the post again.
Okay, so basically we talk about posts, right? So yesterday we talked about posts, we talked about the different type of text or headings. So the H1, H2, H3 as well as the paragraph. So we talk about how to insert image, how to insert videos as well. So that's more or less about the post that we learned. But of course, for the post wise, the most important thing, I think the something that you all will need to go and understand is what is the difference between a post versus a page. So these are the things that is more important for you to understand. Okay, then other than that, I think post should be very simple. How to create new text, how to create new content and things like that. It will be very simple. Okay, anything else that I need to brief you? Anything else that you need to ask me? If not, right, then what we will do is we will start off with our first section today. How do I share my screen? Now, our first section today is basic. So today we're going to talk about three things. One is we're going to talk about posts. One is we're going to talk about themes. The other one we're going to talk about is your plugins, as well as the last thing we're going to talk about is how to plan for your upcoming websites. Okay, so today there are some hands-on, a little bit on hands-on, but most of the later part of the day is mainly on planning of the website itself. Okay, so stay with me. If anything else you want to ask me, you can just raise your hand. I'll come to you once I finish that particular section. Okay, so let me just quickly go over to Teams. Now for Teams wise, basically Teams there are for Teams, right, it's basically it's basically a design for your websites. Design means whenever you want to do design to a website, you don't really have to build everything using the WordPress editor that you see yesterday on post itself. So themes is actually there to help you. Or sometimes the last time we call it a templates, but nowadays they change it to the term theme. So basically for every theme you have, they will have their own design. So what happened is some of the theme are actually built in with page builder. So let me check my slides. Some of the theme are actually built in with page builders. So so what is page builder? Page builder is basically a extra feature that you can actually use to create your website using a drag and drop features. So this is page builder. So there are different themes. There are some themes that comes with page builder. So and then you have different type of page builder as well. But in our current time, right, we actually narrow down to 4 particular theme itself, or four particular theme with page builders. Okay, the first one we have is, as you can see on my screen, it's actually WP Bakery. Now for WP Bakery, right, it's very the downside for WP Bakery is it's very slow sometimes when you try to use the page builder. Okay, so but for WP Bakery, right, the cost, there's actually a cost to it. So if you take a look at their website, WP Bakery. Okay, so this is WP Bakery. So so the WP Bakery is a theme with page builder. So the cost is $45 per year. Okay. Out of the 4, right, I think WP Bakery is the cheapest if you go by per year. But the thing about WP Bakery is that the back end is quite slow sometimes. I won't say very, but quite slow. So sometimes you have to wait additional of like 2 to 3 seconds when you do some actions. So these 2 to 3 seconds, when you add up to the whole page, right, sometimes it takes a while for you to finish the page. So WP Bakery is one page builder you can try to explore, but in my opinion, it is slightly slower than usual than the 3 others page builder. So WP Bakery was also known as a visual composer. So some of your website, right, if it's created a while back, maybe 3 to 5 years ago, it's actually using this thing called visual composer. So it's also known as WP Bakery now. Now the reason why I will say that 3 or 5 years your website should be on WP Bakery or Visual Composer is that it used to be free. That there used to be uh, a free version of WP Bakery. Sorry, a free version of WP Bakery, but later once they redeem themselves, they actually start to charge this $45. So during the free period, right, a lot of freelancer, they actually created teams using the WP Bakery. So out of my experience, I have quite a few clients who was on the WP Bakery. So they actually had the same complaint because the backend is quite slow. So they decided to move out. As for the next one will be Beaver Builder. So the next one will be Beaver Builder. For Beaver Builder, right, it's the oldest builder throughout these 4 main builders. But basically, because it's old, right, the back end is actually quite old looking as well. So if you really want to use it, I think sometimes you feel very bored just to create a website because the whole experience is not very nice now. And one more thing that might turn you off for Beaver Builder is the cost of it. So if you take a look at Beaver Builder, okay. So the Beaver Builder cost right now is $199. Okay, compared to $45, this one is not the best option you should choose. Although it is faster than Visual Builder, however, right, the interface itself is actually quite old. So sometimes it's not very nice to build a website using that builder itself. So This is one builder that you can try to take a look, but not something that I recommend. However, right, Beaver Builder also might there might be a lot of website that is operated by Beaver Builder. Okay, so this is something that you can check, especially the old sites. So those who are having a website now, you can go and check if you are using Beaver Builder. Should be also. So the next one is Elementor. So for Elementor, right? Basically for Elementor is a very new new kid in the neighborhood, basically. So they're very new. They're very clean and nice looking in the interface. Cost wise, it's not very expensive as well. If you take a look per year cost, it's around $49. Okay, it's loading. So $49 per year cost is $49. Now they have a free version, but the free version won't give you the rest of things that you enjoy here. So you go for the $49 per year. Personally, I have quite a lot of feedback from students or from clients, right? That this builder, right, is actually quite troublesome somehow. I tried to use it, but I didn't really like it also. So yeah, you might want to look into. You might want to consider using Elementor personally. Okay, before I move on to the last one, which is DV, the one that I'll recommend, I just want to answer two questions first. The first question I think is from May. She asks, are there any specific teams that work with learning management system like LearnDash? So May, I just want to clarify one thing. Learning management system, right, is basically a extension to your websites. So you don't really have to choose a theme for it, but you can use the plugins. So the learning portal that you use now, right? The learning portal that the Academy has today, right, is also a learning management system, but the back end is powered by DV. So I hope that answers your question, May.
Okay, thanks. It's just that I think right now the theme that we're using is a coaching child theme.
Right.
And it's just not well integrated. So I was just wondering whether it could be a theme issue.
I think it will. It depends on what is the issue right now, lah. So learning management system can also be a theme actually. So but I will propose that since you are here to learn I'll be teaching you the DV theme, right? I'll propose that you just buy the learning management system as a plugin, then integrate with the theme, with the DV theme.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, May. Sorry, Lula, I lower your hand because I want to answer you now. So, but you want to ask me the question that you have?
My question is, yesterday when we saw the SiteGround, right, you can buy the web space of 10 gig to 30 gig. Does the themes that you select, right, affect how much web space is taken up?
To answer your question, yes, it will affect, but usually, but 10 to 15 gig of storage is actually good enough. Usually, after you build the website, right, it is around 2 to 3 gig only. After you fully build the website, it's around 2 to 3 gig only.
If your site is very video heavy also?
Video heavy, usually the video will push to YouTube.
Okay.
Can you hear me or not? Sorry. Usually the video will push to YouTube.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to show you one of my clients' work. I show you, it's only 2 to 3 gig. This amount of work. I just want to show you. Just a moment wait for you to load. Don't know why is it loading so slowly. Yeah. Okay, it's not loading, but basically, if you talk about 5-6 pages, right? And then with all the video, but the video is hosted on YouTube, it should be around 2 to 3 gig. Okay. Lula, okay? Okay. Francis?
I want to check because my website, I actually plan to host some of the new available offices, one after another. So eventually I'll have a lot after some times. What happens if all the space run out?
Do you mean all the space in your server runs out?
Yes, if I'm buying a 10 gig or 20 gig,
Then you can upgrade lah.
upgrade lah.
Yeah.
Or do I need to delete those old posts or archive it?
Of course, the best way is to delete the old posts and delete the images. But usually, you might want to keep some archive. If you want to keep it as an archive, then the archive will still take up space. So you just need to upgrade your server.
So if it's no longer available, it's actually advisable to delete off all those old properties.
Technically, yes, but in terms of SEO wise, if the page is still doing very good, then keep it lah. Keep it there. At least you can earn some backlinks here and there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'll just take one more last question. Any question that you have? Okay, all right. If not, then I want to introduce you to this theme that is DV over here. So DV is powered by Elegant Theme. So I understand that the first day someone told me you attended a course from somewhere else, and then I couldn't remember. You attended a course from somewhere else, and then they teach you a particular theme only, right? And then that's about it. So you can't change it or much on the theme itself. So I'm not sure who, but for DV, right? Basically, DV is focusing more on page building, so you can build the website any way you want to. Okay. So I hope that answers to the person. Sorry, I couldn't remember who was the one asking me. Okay, now I just want to show you DV. For DV, why so for Elegant? So for the 4 themes we have, right? The WP Bakery we have was around $45 per year. The Beaver Builder was about $199 per year, and the Elementor was about $49 per year. So why I choose DV, number one, if you talk about costs wise, for the cost is actually more reasonable. I would say more, you don't know whether reasonable is a good way to put it, but they have a one-time license fee, which is only about $250 lifetime. So, so I've been using DV for the past 6 years for all my clients. So if you take 6 years times like 45 or $49, it's actually more than 250 already. So 250 that I paid is actually much cheaper if you compare it this way. Now the price was used when I buy it, it was only maybe $170+ only. At that period, I was actually quite a pioneer batch to use DV also when they just came out. Now Angie has a question. She asks, do you mind repeat on DV theme? Repeat which part, Angie? Sorry. Basically,
from the start, because your voice is breaking up, so I can't hear the beginning.
Oh, sorry. So for DV, right? DV is actually another page builder. It's actually with the DV is around for I think 7 years or 8 years, 6 or 7 years, maybe around that period. So the good thing about DV is the cost wise, they have a per lifetime cost, which is $250 per one lifetime. If not, right, other than that, DV also give DV is also very fast, and compared to the 4 builders that we have, the other 3 builders that we have, besides that, DV is also interface wise also very nice. Or should I say nicer than the three of it. So I will if I were to choose out of the 4 builder that I recommend you, DV is actually the one that I will probably go for lah. Okay. Now I just Andrew, when I subscribe to ground hosting, I don't remember having to pay for DB. Now I just want to clarify this thing. I know this question is going to come out. Now if I can put it this way, right? So the first thing you buy is your domain, right? Yeah. The first thing you buy is your domain, right? The second thing you buy is your web host, right?
Yes.
Okay, which is your SiteGround, right?
Yeah,
The third thing you don't need to buy, which you need to install only. Okay, this is to install your WordPress, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So what is this course about is how to improve your WordPress with Divi so that you can create a website with Divi without using coding. You can use Divi as a page builder to create a website.
Yes.
So Divi is added under your WordPress. So it's not web host, nothing to do with web hosts.
But I don't remember having to pay $89.
Having to pay $89?
Yeah.
Oh,
The SiteGround come with the WordPress.
SiteGround come with WordPress, but SiteGround don't come with Divi, but
Have leh. I remember they have DB.
don't have Andrew. The Divi
Don't
is
have,
the one that you buy. The Divi is the one that you get from our learning portal, is it?
No, I go to SiteGround site to do the website.
No. So have you installed WordPress already for
Yeah.
your SiteGround? No. So
Yeah.
Divi is an additional cost. It won't come
Is it?
together with any host one.
Was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, I check again.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So before I go on, right, I just want to share with you one of these. Maybe you want to just take a look at one of these Divi video to understand more about what exactly is page builder, and what has Divi got to offer as a page builder itself. So maybe just take 1 minute of your time only. Okay.
Building a website is kind of like painting a masterpiece, except it's nothing like painting a masterpiece. See, when you paint something, you can actually see what you're doing. So when you draw a little house, look, there's a little house. But when you're building a website in WordPress, you're working on the back end with an interface that's built for content creation, not design. Plus, you have no idea how anything will actually look on the site. Hard to create a masterpiece that way.
Masterpiece? Puh.
Now there's Divi. With Divi, you can create your WordPress website on the actual website in real time. So if you want to add a widget or text, go ahead, add it. Everything is drag and drop and totally customizable by shape, size, font, color, and with over 40 different content elements, there's nothing you can't add. So now, building a website really is like painting a masterpiece, only a whole lot easier. Divi, the fastest, easiest way to build beautiful websites.
Okay, so this is Divi for you. Basically, as you see from